A circle graph, also known as a pie chart, is a type of data visualization that displays data as slices of a circular pie. Each sector of the circle represents a specific category or segment of the data. Each sector of the circle represents a portion of the whole data set. The size of the sector of the circle is proportional to the data value it represents. The whole circle represents 100%. All percentages must add to 100. Some advantages are it's useful for making comparisons between categories visually. Usually labels are included for each sector of the circle. Some disadvantages are it's most effective for a limited number of categories. If there's a lot of categories, it may be difficult to read and see the different sections. In example 1, we'll use the pie chart to answer these questions. The following circle graph represents the monthly budget for the Valdez family. In part A, what is the total monthly budget for the Valdez family? Notice we have the different categories here in this table. Rent is 1,000, utilities 300, and so on. To find the total, we'll add those. 1,000 plus 300 plus 650 plus 600 plus 100 plus 250. This gives us 2,900. So the total monthly budget, 2,900. In part B, what is the ratio of the total spent on rent and utilities compared to the total budget? Rent and utilities. So that's two different categories. We'll need to add those. Rent and utilities is 1,000 plus 300, which is 1,300. And we want to compare that to the total budget, which we found earlier to be 2,900. Now we need to simplify this or reduce the fraction. Notice that both numbers end in 2 zeros. So right away we can divide both numerator and denominator by 100, which will simply get rid of those zeros, leaving us with 13 divided by 29. This doesn't reduce, so we've simplified that fraction. In part C, what is the ratio of money spent towards utilities compared to transportation? Write the answer as a reduced fraction. Utilities compared to transportation. Utilities, we can see, is 300. And we want to compare that to transportation, which we can see is 650. Similar to what we did in the previous example, we can remove one of the zeros. We'll divide both by 10. This will give us 30 divided by 65. And now we can see that these two are still divisible by 5. So dividing the numerator by 5 will give us 6. Dividing the denominator by 5 will give us 13. We now have a simplified or reduced fraction. In part D, what percentage of the monthly budget is spent on rent? So rent, we have $1,000. We're looking for the percent. $1,000 is the rent. We want to divide that by the total, 2,900. So we have the amount divided by the base equals the unknown percentage x divided by 100. We're just setting up a proportion like we've done in previous videos. Now cross multiply. 1,000 times 100 will give us 100,000. That is equal to 2,900x. Divide both sides by 2,900. and we'll probably end up approximating this. Let's see what the calculator gives us. 100,000 divided by 2900 gives us 34 and some change. So we're looking at a percentage. Let's just round to the nearest decimal. I know the directions don't specify here. We'll just round to one decimal place. This will be 34.5%. In example 2, the following circle graph depicts the percentage of each type of vehicle sold at a group of dealerships last year. There was a total of 15,000 vehicles sold. Notice we're given the types of vehicles in this list. Part A, how many of the 15,000 vehicles sold were SUVs? SUVs, we have 21%. We can set up a proportion like we've been doing. The amount, we don't know. That's what we're looking for, the number of SUVs. The base is the total, which we are told is 15,000. The percent of SUVs is 21. And we divide that by 100. To solve the proportion, we will cross multiply. We have 100x equals, we need to do a little bit of math here, 15,000 times 21 will give us 315,000. And now to solve for x, we need to divide both sides by 100. This gives us 3,150 SUVs. In part B, what is the ratio of minivans sold to station wagons? Minivans, we have 9%. And station wagons, we have 6%. Since both numerator and denominator contain a percentage, we can just ignore that percentage for now and focus on the 9 divided by 6. Both of those have a common factor of 3. So we'll divide 9 by 3 to get 3, divide 6 by 3 to get 2. So the ratio of minivans to station wagons, 3 to 2. In part C, how many more sedans were sold than SUVs? We already know the number of SUVs. Let's first find the number of sedans. 4-door sedans, 43%. So we need to know the number of sedans. We'll again set up a proportion. We don't know the amount. We don't know the number of sedans. The total is still 15,000. We'll set that equal to the percent, which is 43, divided by 100. Now to solve the proportion, we will cross multiply. 100x equals, we need to multiply now, 15,000 times 43. And this will give us 645,000. Divide by 100 to isolate the x. That will essentially just move the decimal 2 times to the left, leaving us with 6,450 sedans. Now the question is, how many more sedans were sold than SUVs? To fully answer the question, we need to now subtract the number of SUVs. 3150 SUVs. So we'll subtract 3,150. This will give us 3,300. So there's 3,300 more sedans than SUVs. And in Part D, how many of the vehicles sold were not station wagons or two-door coupes? Station wagons were 6%, and two-door coupes were 21%, for a total of 27%. How many were not those? We'll take the whole, which is 100, subtract 27, which will give us 73%. 73% of the vehicles were not the two that were given. An alternate way to find that would be to just add up the percentages that are not station wagons or two-door coupes. So sedans, 43, plus SUVs, 21, plus the minivans, 9. This gives us 73, or 73%. But it's asking for not the percentage, but for the actual number of vehicles. So again, we'll use a proportion. The unknown amount divided by the base, which is the total, 15,000, is equal to the percent, 73, divided by 100. Cross multiply. 100x equals 15,000 times 73. This gives us 1,095,000. We'll divide by 100. This gives us x equals 10,950. So these are the number of cars that are not station wagons or two-door coupes.